Here we go. All right, we're ready. We're going to do Daniel chapters 11 and 12 today. Chapters 11 and 12, not a part 1, part 2. Remember, chapter 10 was actually part 1 of the vision that we're doing today. So in chapter 10, that's when that messenger came to talk to Daniel, and Daniel was all stressed out. And who was fighting against the messenger that God sent? He was called the blank of Blankia.
Prince of Persia.
Prince of Persia. Good job. And then Michael came and helped him out. And then he said that there was another prince that was coming. Do you remember that prince? The prince of
Greece.
Greece. Good job. The prince of Greece. Well, we're actually going to learn about the end of the Medo-Persian Empire and the introduction of the Greek Empire. And so that's, I think, why there is this spiritual warfare going on about this prince of Persia and then this coming prince of Greece, where here on earth, Daniel sees the real rulers of Persia and is getting a message about the rulers from Greece coming in. Okay, so let us get going. Screen share, visualizer of my gigantic eraser. Oh my goodness, that's disgusting. Okay, so, here we go, zoomed out. Okay. So we are in Daniel chapter 11, and we're continuing on. Remember, there was the messenger, and there was the prince of Persia, and this coming prince of Greece, and there was Michael. And I colored him in so that my paper would look pretty. Okay, so now we're going to start chapter 11. We're going to read for a little while. As for me, this is the me. This is the guy that's talking, okay? It's not Daniel talking here. It's that messenger guy. As for me, in the first year of Darius the Mede, I stood up to confirm and strengthen him. So this messenger was helping Darius. Okay, that was what had happened earlier. And now I will show you the true message of what's going to happen. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia. And so how many more kings are going to come along?
3 more.
3 more kings. 3 Persian kings. And the 4th shall be far richer than they all. Oh, there's going to be 3 kings, but the 4th king, we'll draw him out here. He's going to be really rich. In fact, I'm going to put $signs on his crown just to show that he's rich. Instead of the baubles at the top of his crown, I'm going to have him have those $signs up there. He's going to be number 4. He's going to be the 4th king. Okay? And when he is grown strong, he's rich and now he's waxed strong. He's grown strong through his riches. He shall stir up against the realm of Greece. Dun, dun, dun. So who is this 4th Persian king going to fight against?
Greece.
He's going to fight against the king of Greece. Do you think the kings of Greece are excited about this? No. They don't want to do that. And a mighty king shall stand up and shall rule with great dominion and do according to his will. Okay. So, this is what we have going on. There's a few things. There's going to be 4 more Persian kings, the messenger tells Daniel. And that 4th Persian king is going to be rich and he's going to be powerful and he's going to fight against Greece. Well, I think it's time that we got a bit of a map on the board. All right, so we got, this is going to be a really fast, not great map, but you'll get the idea. All right, so we are going to do this map. Can you guys recognize it? Does it make any sense to you?
I can.
You see where it is? Okay, so here is the Nile River. Okay, maybe, oh, why did I draw the Nile River and these waters black? That's silly of me. got the Nile River. And we have
Thomas, maybe if you move a little.
that. Here, hold on just a second, guys. The Nile River right here, and the Dead Sea and the Sea of Galilee. And so Jerusalem is right around in here. And do you know where Daniel is at this time? We got the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers, and Daniel is somewhere, I think Babylon, something like that. So that's where Daniel is. Okay, so this is the map of the Middle East, basically. It's the most beautiful map you will ever see in your entire life. Woo! It's amazing. It's not really that amazing, but it's working, right? And so there is going to be, let's see, a prince of a king in Persia, okay? And he's going to get really, really rich and powerful, and he's going to start fighting. He's going to go that direction. And there's going to be a king in Greece that he's going to fight against. Okay? That's so far what's been going on in the story. And that's really what happened in history. Okay? So Daniel's getting a message. This is what the fighting is going to be like. Well, then it says, visualizer, and a mighty king shall stand up that shall rule with great dominion and do according to his will. Okay? And so then there's going to be this new king that's going to stand up. Daniel was told there's going to be 4 Persian kings. So where is this new king going to come from? Turns out it's going to be from Greece. This king is going to go on a conquering fest, and he's going to go this way. Okay? And you know what he's going to conquer? I'll draw it in red. He's going to have all of this, and 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 all of this. Basically, he conquers the whole map. Do you guys know what Greek warrior conquered the world in history?
No.
Do you know, Jack?
Oh no.
Alexander the Great. I don't know if the Great was his actual last name. That'd be a fun last name. But he was Alexander, and I think he's called the Great because he just conquered the whole world.
I remember the ram.
Mhm. Yeah, and so do you remember how there was the dream? Jack just made the connection. Do you remember the dream of the ram and the goat?
Yep.
So this is the ram with the 2 horns, and this is the goat. I'll draw him here. Oh man, he seems really scary. So
He's like a shark.
yeah, he does look like a shark with a horn coming out of his face. Oh well, that's not a great drawing, but you get the idea. We have the ram of Persia, Medo-Persian Empire, and then this Greek one-horned goat coming from Greece. And so Daniel's old prophecy is mixing up with this prophecy, and it's working out pretty well. All right, well, let's keep reading. And when he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken and shall be divided toward the 4 winds of heaven, but not to his posterity, not to his kids, nor according to his dominion wherewith he ruled, for his kingdom shall be plucked up, even for others beside thee. All right, so here we got, there is this Alexander the Great. He comes in, and he is this fighting goat guy, right? What happened after do you guys remember what happened in the prophecy to that horn of his?
It broke. But then it went into 4 horns and one grew out of one.
Right, it broke apart, and then it turned into 4 separate horns going in 4 different directions, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to what Daniel just said. When he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken and shall be divided to the 4 winds of heaven. And so Alexander comes in and he conquers the whole world. And he was a very, very busy guy. I mean, he conquered the whole world. And then when he got done conquering the world, you know what he did? He died. Well, now what? The kingdom, usually kings, the kingdom goes to their sons, right? Well, that didn't happen with Daniel. Or, sorry, Alexander. I'm getting them all confused. They took his horn, they took his kingdom, and they made 4 kingdoms out of it. Okay? This is where it's going to get a little bit tricky with colors. And I'm not going to draw the maps perfectly, but there was one kingdom down here. I'll do it like orange. And it kind of came up like this a bit. There was one kingdom kind of down here. There is the original Greek kingdom. I'll keep it red up here in Greece. And then I'll do purple since we already did. Oh, the ram is gone, right? Then there was one big purple kingdom all like this. All right. I just now made the messiest board in the world. But does this make sense? Can you see the different colors okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you can see it, Alice. You're right here with me. I want to see if those internet kids can see it. You guys can see it on the class okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And I'll do some orange down here. Okay. So that's a really messy map. Ooh. Oh, well. You get the idea, right? And so what we have here is 4 different kingdoms. I'll even label it. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Okay? Those are the kingdoms. It's the sloppiest map in the world. And if you want to sell it to an art museum, you'll get $4 million for it because I'm an amazing artist. It's just the truth, right?
Yeah.
Not at all.
It
Okay.
sort of is because messy things can be.
Messy things can be liked in museums. Okay, so Daniel is getting an idea that the kingdom is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 kingdoms. Okay, so that's what's going to happen. Let's see what happens next. We're not going to be able to do very much more in this chapter because it's just so busy. And the king of the south shall be strong. And one of his princes, that'd be like a king or somebody, he shall be strong above him and have dominion, and his dominion shall be a great dominion. And by the end of years, they shall join themselves together. And the daughter of the king of the south shall come to the king of the north to make an agreement. But she shall not retain the strength of her arm. All right, I'm going to stop there because it just kind of gets really busy here. It gets really hard. All right, so we learned about a king of the south, and then there was a king of the north, and there was this dominion and all that. What happens is Daniel gets information in this dream or this vision about how the kings are going to fight. What do you think is the most interesting place in the world for Daniel? Is he interested in Disney World? Does he hear what king is ruling in Disney World?
No.
What's Daniel interested in? Well, he's interested in God, but what place on earth would Daniel be interested in?
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem. Right? So here's Jerusalem, and, you know, kind of like the kingdom of Israel, right? Now, it's not really Israel anymore because they were captive, but they're about to go back. They're about to go back home, and they're going to live there. And do you remember how in the prophecy of the 70 weeks, it's going to be a troubled time? Do you remember that phrase? The troubled time? This is a vision about that troubled time. Troubled time. This is the king of the south. This is the king of the north. Okay? This is the king of the south, and that's the king of the north. And for the rest of chapter 11, we don't hear anything else about this kingdom, and we don't hear anything about this kingdom. Why do you think we stopped hearing about these 2 kingdoms?
Because maybe they're not important.
They're not important. And why aren't they important? Can you guess why they're not important? Because they're not about Jerusalem. Look what's in between the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom.
Yeah.
Right smack dab in the middle is...
Well, it can escape through the green kingdom or just in between.
Right, but the point is, Jerusalem is right in between the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. There's a king in the north and there's going to be a king in the south. And when the king of the south dies, the next king of the south is going to be grouchy. And when the next king of the north dies, the next king of the north is going to be grouchy. And chapter 11 is all about the real history of those kings getting grouchy with each other.
Probably get scared.
I think Daniel does get scared. Yeah. Remember how scared he was when he was talking to that messenger in the last in the last vision in chapter 10? So I'm going to do a little bit of this part and give you a sense for what this is all about. I'm going to read this part again. The king of the south shall grow strong. Okay. There's going to be a king down here that's going to grow really strong. Okay. The king of the south, let's see, I'll draw a king, and he's got an S. The king of the south shall grow strong, and one of his princes, he shall be strong above him. So the king of the south is going to have a prince guy with him, but this prince is going to grow up to be even bigger. Okay? In the real history, there was a problem up north, and one of these princes came down and lived with the king of the south while this king of the south was getting really strong. Later on, that prince that hid down here, he went back home to the north, and he took it over, and he got major strong. And so the little information that Daniel is giving us is happening in this chapter. It's happening in real history. And he shall be great and have a great dominion. And at the end of the years, they shall join themselves together. And the daughter of the king of the south shall come to the king of the north to make an agreement. What does that sound like? The daughter of the king of the south shall meet up with the king of the north to make an agreement. They don't do it as much anymore, but how did countries get peace between them? Can you remember what they used to do with kings and queens and things?
Oh, they would marry.
They would get married together, right?
Oh.
Yeah, that's what they do. And that'd be a big part of their negotiations. So here is this king of the south. And he sends his daughter. Wait, I usually draw. Okay, so there's the daughter going up. She's got hair. That's the way you can tell she's a girl, because I haven't been drawing the girls very girly lately. There we go. She's going to get married to a king in the north, so that there will be this agreement. And you know what happened? That actually happened in real history. The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom got a marriage contract, and the daughter went up to get married in the north. And what was going to happen in the north was that northern kingdom guy was going to divorce his old wife and marry this new one, so that there would be a peace treaty. Well, what do you think about his other wife? How do you think she felt about that?
No.
She felt bad. So you know what she did? She poisoned them both.
What?
She poisoned them. It's real history. This really, really happened. She poisoned them. So let's see what Daniel says about it. Wait, okay, so the daughter of the king of the south shall come to the king of the north and make an agreement. All right, they're going to get married. But she shall not retain the strength of her arm. Why is she not going to retain the strength of her arm? Because she's going to get poisoned.
Poison.
Blah. She's going to get poisoned. Actually, that king also got poisoned. Neither shall he stand. They're both going to get poisoned. Poison. Neither shall he stand, nor his arm. But she shall be given up, and they that brought her, and he that begat her. So her dad somehow is going to die. Well, what really happens in real history is the dad died that same year, and he that strengthened her in those times. These are really detailed prophecies, right? Now, Does the text of Daniel say poison is going to be used? No. But the text of Daniel says there's going to be a marriage agreement and they're going to get together, but it's not going to work out. And she's going to die, and he's going to die, and the dad's going to die. And that happened in real history. I don't know if Daniel was alive when that happened. But I think there were God's people alive when that was happening. And they would read through the book of Daniel and they'd say, wait a minute, that just happened in the news. I just saw that on an internet and YouTube video. Well, I don't think they had YouTube back then, but you get the idea. I just read in Daniel, and then I just saw the news broadcast said that actually happened. So what do you think the child of God thinks after that? If they've lived through verse 6 and it's come true, what do they think is going to be about reading verse 7? Do you think it might come true too?
Yeah.
The rest of all of chapter 11 is more of really detailed prophecies of all these things that are going to happen. There's going to be kings of the south and kings of the north, and they're going to, the people shall lift themselves up to establish the vision, but they shall fall, and there's going to be people dying and fighting, and after this he shall return his face to the isles and shall take many, but a prince shall cause his reproach offered by him to cease, and yea, more. Oh my goodness. There are so many details in all of chapter 11. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop there for just a moment. And we're going to jump all the way to chapter 12. We don't have the time to do all of chapter 11 and all of chapter 12. We're just going to do that little part of chapter 11, if that's okay with you guys. And now we're just going to do the very end, which is chapter 12. Now, here's the thing. Do you know how to read words? Yeah. Do you know how to draw pictures? Yeah. You can make your own comic book of Daniel chapter 11. It might be tricky at times, but you can make your own comic book. And now remember, it didn't say poison, so you might have to invent your own swords and poisons and tricks. But it will tell you what's going to happen to these kings, and you can write your own notes. You can write it with words if you want, or you can write it with pictures and do your own narration of Daniel chapter 11. And that's a cool project to do. We don't have the time to do it in this class. We're just going to jump here towards the end, towards Daniel chapter 12. So if you have your Bibles open, jump all the way to Daniel chapter 12, and we will finish up the book. At that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which stands for the children of your people. Do you remember hearing about Michael in the last book, the last chapter? He stands to help the children of Daniel's people. Michael helps Israel. So let's draw Michael. I think I drew Michael with like cool hair. Yeah, we're in chapter 12, verse 1. Here's Michael, and he is helping the children of Israel. Here's Michael. Oh, I'll put it, Michael. And he is helping the Israelites. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as there never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, your people shall be delivered. Everyone that shall be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth. What do you think it means to sleep in the dust of the earth?
To be buried.
To be buried, to be dead, right? And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. What does it mean if they wake up?
They're risen from the
Come back
dead.
to life.
Yeah, they're resurrected. What is this all of a sudden sounding like?
Revelation.
Yeah, people in the book, people are resurrected. Some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine. Oh, that was a word we saw in the book of Revelation. Shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, brightness of the sky. And they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. They're going to be like the star. Oops, my pencil broke. They're going to be like the stars shining in the sky. But you, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So Daniel is given this message. Is it a happy message?
Yeah, but God
Questions?
to not let anyone know it.
Right. He says to seal it up. So Alice, you say it's a happy message. Did somebody say something different?
I said it's happy for Christians.
Yeah, it's happy for God's people. But it's also going to involve this time of trouble. So it's still a hard message, don't you think? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what the rest of the chapter says. Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other two, the one on the brink of the river on this side, and the other on the brink of the river on that side. All right, so I'm going to draw two guys. And there's a river in between them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And the one said to the man clothed in linen, which is above the waters of the river. I guess there's somebody up above. How long shall it be to the end of the wonders? Have we heard that question before? How long? And I heard the man clothed in linen, who was above the waters of the river, and he held up his right hand and his left unto heaven. And he swore by him that lives forever and ever, that it shall be for a time, times, and a half. How long?
Times and a half.
Which is what we saw in Revelation, right? Time, times, and half a time. 3.5. That might be 3.5 years. I don't know, but it's 3.5 times for sure. What did we say? Is time, and half a times, is that long? Or is it short? Is it regular? What is it? What do you think about that? Time, times, and half.
I think it's a year. I think it would be like a year.
Well, don't worry about the exact time.
That is 3.5 days.
Yeah, it's a lot. Basically, the idea here is if it's 7 years, that's a complete and a whole time, and it'll be kind of long. If it's 3.5, it's going to be a little bit shorter.
It's half of 7.
Yeah, it's half of 7, so it's a little bit shorter. And when they have made an end of breaking in pieces the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. And I heard, but I understood not. And then I said, O my Lord, what shall be the issue of these things? And he said, Go your way, Daniel, for the words are shut up and sealed till the time of the end. Many shall purify themselves and make themselves white and be refined. That's like being purified. But the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but they that be wise shall understand. And from the time of the continual burnt offering shall be taken away, and the abomination which makes desolate set up. So there's this abomination coming to get things desolate. There will be 1,290 days, 1,290 days. And that is about 3.5 years. Isn't that interesting? Blessed is he that waits and comes to the 1,305 and 30 days. 1,335 days is 45 days more. But go your way till the end be, for thou shalt rest, and thou shalt stand in your lot at the end of the days. I think this is a message about the salvation. And the message is, hang in there. It's going to be 3.5 years of hard times. And if you can hold out, then you shall have rest. You shall stand in your lot. That might be you will stand on your place in Israel, and you will have this joy at the end of the days. Okay, so we just kind of went very quickly through chapter 12. What does it sound like chapter 12 is talking about? What's the point of chapter 12? This is not an easy chapter, guys. This is hard stuff. What do you think? I'll tell you what I think.
I think it's crazy.
You think it's crazy? Chapter 11 stuff is really crazy, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is what I think is going on. Chapter 11 is telling the story of history. Of course, it's telling the story of history before the history happened. So it's foretelling the story of history. And then chapter 12 is telling that be strong during trouble. Be strong during the trouble. And if you're strong during the trouble, then you will be okay. And there is this cool image about this people on the other side of the river, getting across the river. Have you guys ever sung songs at church about the Jordan River and the idea of crossing over the River Jordan? A lot of times that's talking about getting into heaven or getting into rest and getting into peace. And so this is what I think chapters 11 and 12 are doing. Chapter 11 is saying, here's the story of history. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. It's going to have some really hard times, and you guys can make a comic book about it. Chapter 12 is saying, so be strong during that time. Endure and hold on. Oh, Lord, how much longer? Time, times, and half a time. So be strong during that time. So here's my question. Have you ever heard that before? Oh, Lord, how long is it going to be? It's going to be a troubling time. And the answer is time, times, and half a time. Be you strong. Have you heard that before?
No.
Can anyone think of a time you heard something like that? I see some Bennett hands going up. Yeah. The book of Revelation is all about that, right? Oh God, remember they're under the altar. Oh God, how long? How long is this going to happen? How long do we have to wait for all this to be? And God says, hold on. It won't be a very long time. You hold on and it will be okay. And I think that that's the message that Daniel is getting here. Cool. Does anybody have any questions about chapters 11 and 12? These are not easy chapters, okay? I have a hard time learning them, let alone teaching them. So if you guys are having a hard time, I understand. Do you have any questions? No? Okay.
I had a question, but I forgot it.
Well, if you remember again, you can get your mom to email me or text me or something. That's cool too. Anything else? All right, cool. Well, guys, we just finished the book of Daniel. What? We did it! There's some adults that don't study chapters 10 and 11 very often, 10, 11, and 12. And I'm one of them. I don't study chapters 10, 11, and 12 very often. They're complicated chapters. But you guys got through it. You did a really good job. You should feel good about yourself. You were able to read the whole book of Daniel. You might not understand every word, but you can read and get the main point of Daniel now. That's really, really cool. I'm proud of you guys. Thanks for hanging in there. All right. Well, I will see you guys later. Thanks a bunch. Take care.